Hey everybody, this is Keith Ellison, Deputy Chair of the Democratic National Committee, and we are in Washtenaw County, firing up Michiganders. It's awesome. Tune on in.
Welcome to the 7th Congressional District in Washtenaw County.
My privilege, and it's been my great privilege over the last 15 months, to develop a relationship, to get to know the wonderful leader that is represented in Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
Well, good evening. Okay, I'm dressed for the Detroit Tigers. I did Detroit Tigers take 2. It's now, I was hoping we were going to leap forth because we just finished the 12th inning. It's tied 10-10. And I wanted the Tigers to win in the 12th for the lucky 12th inning. So now we're going into the 13th inning. But I know the Tigers are going to win, and Michigan's going to win tomorrow night. We're going to, hey guys, this is a Michigan crowd tonight. And Democrats are going to win in November. I'm going to be brief because I think that a lot of you came to talk, not to listen at us talk to you all night. But I do want to thank Chris for the fabulous job that he does as chair of Washtenaw County Dems and the entire executive committee for all that they do. And the diversity of people that are here is incredible, and we see all of the candidates at the back of the room, and Donna, who has become a wonderful friend. That is a pickup seat that we've got. Gretchen's actually the one that picked it up. Donna has protected it. Republicans want it, and we are never going to let the Republicans get that seat back again. She's doing a great job. So I have to tell you, it's sort of a telephone kind of way. I've heard Keith Ellison's coming to Michigan this weekend, and he wants to do a rally on Good Friday. And by the way, I'm Catholic, and the first night of Passover. And I said, it's Good Friday, and it's the first night of Passover. Who is going to go? Well, look at this room. And Chris was, so it shows you how good I am about that kind of stuff. So I wanted, but we didn't do a rally, we did a dialogue, we did a conversation. And Chris, thank you for the respect that you showed everybody in it being a religious holiday. But I think I'm just going to talk very briefly about 3 subjects. And John Dingell, I do love you, and I'm going to talk about you in a minute when I introduce Keith too, because of the passion that we share. But, you know, today is a religious holiday. For people like me, the weekend is, but I'm a Catholic girl. So when I got to be my age, did I think that I was going to be defending one of the most fundamental pillars of our Constitution and fighting for freedom of religion and freedom of speech? No, I didn't. And that's why it's a wonderful day to be here. My colleague Keith is a very good friend. We've become very good friends, and he's actually here with his brother as well to talk about next week on April 4th. It's the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King. And so we need to talk about civil rights right now too. But we need to remind people what this Constitution is about. And that freedom of religion and freedom of speech are the most fundamental pillars of democracy. And that we have people who are trying to divide this country with fear and hatred. And we cannot let that happen. And that's why, in many ways, it is so good that we are here, standing here tonight, talking about that. I represent the largest group of Muslims in this country, and I am proud to live in Dearborn and represent them. They are as American as anybody else I know. And now we can talk about DACA for a minute, and how we need comprehensive immigration reform in this country. We have these young people. How many of us know them? They're going to school here. They've been part of our communities forever. but we need to tell people the truth. Here is the reality. Our farmers need people to help pick crops. Our hospitality industry needs people to work in it. The construction industry is in trouble. The autos need people. That immigrants contribute to the fabric and the backbone of this country. It's who we are, and we need to stop letting people divide us with this issue. Period. I'm going to talk about two more issues quickly. Last Saturday, it was my honor to stand with the kids of Washtenaw County at Pioneer High School. Thank you very much. We need to do something. I know, John Diggle, you've even been supporting me lately. Just lately. Hey, you guys, marriage is the spice of life when you don't. But he's probably going to get mad at me, but I knew the NRA had gone too far when I heard him swearing at the television 2 Saturday mornings ago, and how far the NRA had gone, and how he's smiling. I don't know if I was. Some members have been kidding me about whether he's changed the lock on the door lately. But I mean, in all seriousness. And I said to these kids, we're not asking to get rid of the Second Amendment, but kids should be able to go to school and feel safe. We need to do some basic things. We need to be able, we finally did get the CDC is now allowed to do research against gun violence in the omnibus. I mean, that was, and we fixed NICS, but why can't we do a simple background check? We need to get that passed. And if law enforcement or a family member, like the family that I lived in, knows that somebody shouldn't have access to a gun, you need to give people the tool to take the gun away so the person's not a threat to themselves or the community. And if someone's been convicted of domestic abuse, they're a convicted felon, because of domestic abuse or stalking, they shouldn't have access to a gun, period. And even the NRA says we should ban the bump stock, then let's go ban the bump stock. So we need to do something on guns. But the last issue, and I'm going to talk about it and introduce my colleague. John Dingell's father was one of the authors of Social Security. John Dingell's father, actually, when I tell this story, when he was moving out of his office and he was so sick, I got the honor of cleaning out that office. But I found a handwritten, he knows this, handwritten pieces of paper that was probably the first Medicare bill that was ever written from the 40s that his father had written. But John Dingell introduced universal health care legislation every year from the time that he got in the Congress to the time that he retired. And this is a fight that my colleague Keith Ellison, every fight that I've just talked to you about, Keith Ellison's a partner and a leader in, and we are doing all of this together. And we're going to keep fighting on all of it. But we need to take this fight for universal health care, for Medicare for all, across this country. And John, we thank you for what you did, but we still got a long way to go. But Keith Ellison and I are going to take it over that finish line. I believe if you live in this country, if you live in America, every American's got a right to affordable, quality health care, period. You shouldn't have to worry, senior after senior telling me that how expensive their insulin has become, and that they're breaking the pill off so that they can take their insulin and afford their food to be able to eat at the same time. There are just too many stories, and the cost of drugs is just escalating. There are women that I'm meeting that have a lump in their breast and they're afraid to go get a mammogram because even if they find breast cancer, they can't afford to go get the treatment that they need to get. That's not okay. So, my colleague Keith Ellison Ellison is a fighter. He is a champion. I have been really honored. I always knew Keith, but he has mentored me since I entered the Congress. He cares about so many issues, and he knows what it takes to win. He is traveling this country, and he's tireless. He is absolutely tireless. You should see his schedule for this weekend. While he's here in Michigan, I think you're doing 15 events while you're here. He's going to talk about civil rights, and I want him to, there are so many issues, all the issues that we need to care about. And I'll tell you something, you know, I always say to people, I don't need to be Debbie Downer, but I am a little Debbie Downer. I warned people 2 years ago that what happened could happen. You all thought I was certifiable. Yeah, I did. I kept telling them, but we weren't talking about jobs. We weren't talking about trade. We weren't talking about pensions. And a year and a half ago, when I started doing town hall meetings, and I'm going to say this to you point blank, this meeting tonight makes me feel good because it is Good Friday and it is the first night of Passover, and you're all here. But there were thousands of people at that first town hall. By April, May, there were 600 or 700. In August, there were 300. And in September, I went to local 600 for a town hall in NAFTA, and there were 30 people. We cannot lose passion, enthusiasm, or energy for what is at stake in November. So if we care about freedom of religion, if we care about freedom of speech, if we care about guns in our schools and our kids going to schools and being safe, and if we want every American to be able to go to the doctor when they need to go to the doctor, then we have got to work our tails off between now and November so that every American knows their vote matters. And Keith Ellison, the man that I'm the vice chair of the DNC, the man that is my colleague and friend from Minnesota, but traveling this country, telling Americans as it is and what's at stake. Please welcome to Washtenaw County, the 7th and 12th District, Congressman Keith Ellison from Minnesota.
Debbie, bingo. Debbie, yes, right. I love some Debbie bingo. You want somebody who is ready for the fight, ready to do anything they got to do to make sure that people are better off? Call Debbie. That's right. You know, John, love you. John Dingle, everybody, please give him a hand. I love him. He is, John Dingle, we invoke his name in the Congress all of the time because he inspires us all of the time. And I want to let you know, John, that the kind of fight that you expect, this young lady is carrying on every single day. You guys, the Dingle family, you guys, we owe you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So, many years ago, Franklin Roosevelt, he died. And his casket was on a train, and it was winding through the nation, and large crowds of people would come out to pay their respects and would stop and talk and discuss, and you'd see the train, it had like the red, white, and blue bunting on it. And at one time, this journalist came out, and he saw this man sitting there. And the man was a man with bib overalls on, burnt, you know, like a flannel shirt. Man who worked hard every day. You know, the kind of job where you take a shower when you get home from work, not when you get up in the morning. You know them kind of jobs? Folks work them jobs to make this whole country run. Kind of folks who might be in IBEW, as a matter of fact. And the journalist walked up to this man and said, "Sir, I see that you're a little overcome, and I'd just like to ask you, did you know President Roosevelt?" And the man looked up and said, "No, but he knew me." Now, my prayer for all of us, each one of us in this room, is that we will make the people of Washtenaw feel that the Democratic Party knows them. This is what we should be striving for every single day. Because that guy out there who's been looking for a job and can't find one, or maybe found 1, 2, and 3 and still can't make it, that guy needs a party. That woman who's being harassed on her job by some creep, she says, me too, she needs a party that's going to stand with her. Those kids going to school hoping somebody doesn't break through the door and shoot up everybody, they need a party. The family laying in bed, hoping and praying that the plant doesn't shut down, they got to have a party. People in Flint, they sure need a party. You know, they need a party that throws down for them every single day. But how can people feel that we know them unless we are engaged with them every single day? Come rain, come shine. Good Friday, Passover Seder, a couple of days before Easter, beautiful Friday afternoon, you all are here. I want to thank you for being here. We need you here because the things that are at stake and on the line for our nation are that important. That's why you're here, because you understand the urgency of the moment. In many ways, this is a leadership meeting. Nobody has to tell you to vote. You've been voting forever, right? Y'all the ones who vote when nobody else votes. But we need you to use your discretion, your time, your energy to leverage massive numbers of votes throughout Washtenaw County and even in Michigan. Y'all need to get so many people engaged that you can export some to Wayne County if needed. That's the kind of turnout we're here. So yeah, we got all the volunteers we need here in Washtenaw. Go get the folks in Detroit tomorrow. What I'm telling you is that that is the moment that we're in. In 2014, which is the last midterm election, we had a voter turnout across this country of 36% of the eligible voters. That means in the United States of America, a democratic country, a free country where people are allowed to pick their leaders, we had so little turnout that barely a third of the people elected to vote. And as a result of that, people with right-wing agendas came in and started passing stuff, not just in Washington, but in every state across this country, pushing right-to-work laws like we have here in Michigan, pushing right definitely down, pushing, you know, in Missouri and in Texas, they have cut into Planned Parenthood so badly and attacked women's health so badly that maternal mortality is literally going up in the United States of America. Infant mortality going up, life longevity going down. But people are fighting back. And we've got to take all of that energy, all of that stuff, and we've got to convert it into the ballot box. That is what we've got to do, and that is what I came to talk to you about today. So I'm going to tell you guys, you all know, who here has been in a rally or a march or something? Everybody's hand goes up. Been in plenty of them, right? But how many of us in this room have talked to people who think that you're going to change society with a rally? No, we know that you've got to convert that rally energy into the ballot box, right? And that is the challenge that is in front of us right now. That's why we got a program that I want y'all to know about. It's called I Will Vote. Everybody say it with me. I will vote. Say it one more time. I will vote. And if you have a cell phone, get it out because I want to give you a number. I will vote. I will vote. We want to get 50 million Americans to pledge to vote. We need 50 million Americans to say, I'll vote. If we get 50 million Americans to vote, we will wipe them out. Not just in Washington, but in every single state capital across the United States, certainly here in Michigan. We've got to get turnout up, and 50 million people implies, insinuates, means that we're going to have to talk to a whole lot of folks. But the beauty of talking to a whole lot of folks is that that is what Democrats nationally have been missing. We've forgotten to talk to the people. We think that what we stand for is so self-evidently true that it is self-executed. Well, of course everybody ought to go to the doctor. We don't have to go tell people that. Well, of course, America is a nation of immigrants. We don't have to actually go make our case. Well, of course, racial justice is something we all have to stand for, that we have fought for. We don't have to go explain it to people. Oh, yes, we do. And I will vote means that you're going to get that chance because we need you, not just to knock the doors, but to have a sustained conversation at the doors. We don't want you to just go to the door, knock, 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 will you vote? Yes, bye. No, that's not what we're doing. We're saying, talk to me about your issue. What is important to you? Why do you believe that our country needs to have everybody participating? Do you believe that? What are the issues? Oh yeah, thank you. I'll take your card. We'll pass it along to people who can help you with that problem. We're trying to use politics to build community. See what I'm saying? We're going to use politics to build community. So the number is 43367. Put it in your phone. Am I right? 43367. Put your hand up once you've done it, and we're going to type commit, right? Yeah. How many M's in there?
2 M's.
How many T's?
1 T.
2 M's, 1 T. 43367. COMMIT. Okay, put your hand up once you're done. Okay, let me see some hands. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. Wave your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. All right, good, good. Keep doing that. You're going to get information on this I will vote. 50 million people to vote. We've got to get people to vote. You're going to get information to help us do that. And let me just tell you, right now we are working out our differences. The Democratic Party, we don't look at groups like Indivisible, Our Revolution, Flippable as rivals. We look at them as our allies. We know that you can get to the same destination we're trying to get to, but you can get there in a different van. We're in the Democratic Party van. You can get there in the flippable bus. We're all going to justice. We're all going to freedom. We're all going to inclusion. We're all going to respect. Unlike them other guys who are going Lord knows where. Well, my point is simply this. Here's my point, and here's my point. If we don't engage this country at the grassroots level, she's going to be right, but it won't only be them. We have got to walk away from only going to the purple counties and the purple states. We've got to talk to everybody. Every zip code needs to count. This is the new Democratic Party. This is not the Democratic Party that says, okay, we've used our statistical data analysis and we have figured that you're a red state, and so we don't have to talk to you because you're red, and you're a blue state, and we don't have to talk to you because you're blue, and so we're just going to go to the purple ones. Oh, you mean like the blue states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and even Minnesota? You don't talk to us, we're not engaged, we don't win. We don't believe in this stuff about, oh, our statistical analysis says you're safely in the blue category, so we don't engage you. Quite frankly, folks, and this is a little bit of political sacrilege I'm about to speak, we obsess on these elections a little bit too much. And I'm going to tell you why that's a problem. Because if we only go talk to the people when it's time for and then they don't see us again until there's and then next time they see us again, it's only because there's they're going to start to think and all we care about is the right. But that pastor who's pastoring that church, who half his congregation can barely meet their bills, so they got some payday lender trying to pick their pocket on the daily, he needs us during the election, not just on the election. Debbie Dingle, when that woman who she talked about, and that's a real person who's like, should I get the mammogram? Because if I get it, I might be positive. And if I'm positive, then what am I going to do? Because I can't afford this. I literally had a woman who told me she was going to get a double mass because her mother and her mother's sister died from breast cancer, and she was just going to get a double mass even though she didn't have any symptoms because she was too young to die because she had little kids. This is what this lady said to me. Look me square in the eye. That lady needs a party who's going to fight for her, and guess what? She doesn't quite give a damn about the election. She cares about whether she can get some medicine and some health care. That is what she cares about. And we've got to be there. We've got to understand the Democratic Party, not just as a people who just want to be about an election. We've got to be the people who are a group of folks who care about our fellow citizens and who fight on the daily, not just election day, for them. The Democratic Party can't just be a party for Democrats. It's got to be a party for all the American people. We have got to see ourselves as having a mission beyond ourselves. Certainly a mission beyond the election. But here's the beauty of that grassroots engagement. It lasts longer than any TV commercial ever could. You run a TV ad, people forget it 10 days later. You knock on the door, the folks will see you in the grocery store, they'll see you in the movie theater, they'll see you at work, they'll see you on the bus. You will have made a friend. Who here met somebody through campaigning and they're still friends, been friends for years? You've literally built community. You know what people really want? They want relationship, they want connection, they want to be together. They want to know that in a cold Michigan winter, when their car is stuck and they can't get out, somebody who they don't even know is going to help push them out of that snow trip. You know what that is? That's community. And they want to know that if they get that diagnosis for the big C, that somebody cares enough and is going to allow them to worry about getting healthy rather than allow them to worry about going into bankruptcy. That's the reality. That's what Debbie's talking about. That's what John's talking about. That's what they've been fighting about forever. But it can't just be like a Roosevelt. Roosevelt wasn't by himself. He had Frances Perkins, an awesome woman, by the way. An awesome woman, by the way, who was fighting for economic justice before it was cool, right? Before we were talking about Me Too and all that, she was fighting in the churches to make sure that Americans had what they needed to make it. So I just want to say to you, we have a new Democratic Party. It's not the old one. It's not the TV party. It's not the writing folks off party. It's not the party that says, we know you're going to vote for us, so we don't even have to talk to you. We're not talking to Michigan because we think we got them in our back pocket. And we're not talking to Kentucky because we think we'll never get them. No, we talk to everybody all the time now. This is the new Democratic Party. It has to soak in deep and come up strong. If we do it, we're going to win. It implies collaboration. It requires that. If somebody comes to you and says, well, what is the message of the Democratic Party? I want you to tell them, I will vote. Knock the door. Go engage somebody. Get a watch sheet. We can discuss the finer points of George Lakoff's book as we're walking the neighborhood, talking to people. Because if all you want to do is sip coffee and talk about messaging stuff, then I ain't got no time for that. Right. But if you want to go knock a door and go build a relationship and listen to some neighbors, now you got my attention. This has got to be the kind of relationships we're building. And let me tell you, it'll do all kind of wonders for us. One thing it will do is it'll help us sharpen our rap back. Because you're talking to Miss McGillicuddy, you're talking to Mrs. Johnson, you're talking to Mr. Smith, whose son is in the military and he's scared to death that this maniac's going to send him over there to fight in North Korea somewhere. You're going to talk about a father or a mother who's scared to death that their child, look, we know that when our kids join the military, that they may have to pay the ultimate price in service to their nation. We know this. Who has a child in the military? I do. We know. We're not naive. We know. Soldiers sometimes find themselves in dangerous situations, right? But don't play my kid's life cheap. Make it so that he's truly defending his country. He's not on the whim of some egomaniacal, crazy president who's just trying to divert the country's attention away from something. Let's not allow that. So I want to tell you that if we can get turnout up this season, up to about 50%, which ain't that impressive, but it's good enough to take over state houses in Washington. If we can get 50 million people to pledge to vote, we're going to win everywhere. But let me just tell you, one day, and I know you can barely see it now, but it's true, one day we're going to get rid of Trump. Trust me, we will. It's going to happen. But when we get rid of him, do we go back to the way we were before? No. Do we just slide back into a slumber? No, we've got to keep on building. We can use politics to build community. So that Mrs. McGillicuddy, who makes a mean peach cobbler, we're knocking on her door and we're inviting her to the phone bank. Because her son, who's now a doctor in San Diego, and her daughter moved down to Detroit, she don't see them that much, but guess what? You're her new family. And she gonna tell you how she helped John Kerry got elected. Am I lying? Yes. There's folks like this right here amongst us. And they are delightful. And all they want is for somebody to give a crap about them. Because guess what? They have carved a way for us. And by the way, that little knucklehead, 18-year-old, 17-year-old whose butt pants is dragging down here, and every people scared of him, they think he's going to do something. You know what I'm saying. Can we keep it real for a half second? That little guy, he may be the best canvasser you ever have if you will not be afraid of him and you will invite him on the campaign. You gotta say, hey, look, Sammy. Because let me tell you, if you don't invite Sammy on the campaign, there's some other bad person who wants to exploit him to sell drugs for him. You invite him in, you might just be saving his life. And in 20 years, he might be the mayor of Ann Arbor. But how would we even know? He'll sit around 20 years from now and say, you know, I'm going to tell you, Miss McGee, who was with the Washtenaw Democratic Party, I was a mess. I was a fool. But she told me I was going to help her knock some doors. And I did it because they was going to pay me, you know, a few bucks. It was better than what else out there was for me. Turned my life around. I got back in school. And now, man, my whole life has changed. You can change somebody's life with this stuff. Happens every day. And let me just say, Debbie's right. A lot of your Muslim neighbors, they lay awake at night. They're scared to death. They hear this ugly rhetoric from the president. They need you to say, hey, look, we're here. We're here. We're not going to let them do this to you. You know, the DACA kids, we're here. I remember that low-down creep, what's his name, Terry Jones. Wanted to come up. You know, I got some of the best political advice I ever got in my life from John Daniel. Can I tell y'all about it? Yes. I'm going to be real quick because I've got to wrap it up. So, Terry Jones, who was going to burn Qurans or something like that. He's from down in Gainesville, Florida. He says he's going to come up to Dearborn to try to intimidate your neighbors and your constituents. He comes up to Dearborn, and there are more Christians and Jews and Hindus and people who don't even practice any religion standing with the Muslim community than there are people on his little side. Bless you for that. Thank you for that. That's being a good neighbor. Now I'm about to wrap up, man, because all I really want to tell you about is the I Will Vote program. I want to get you in that program, and I want to just wrap up by telling you this. 50 years ago, in only a few days, we will have lost the great Martin Luther King, because he was with some sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee, and got shot while he was doing it and lost his life. That's a tragedy. But do you know those garbage workers went on to win the strike? They won that strike, proving that even a great one, we can lose a great one, because nobody's here forever, but we're going to lose, but we're going to win the overall goal if we stick together and we keep fighting. They won that strike. These men who felt so disrespected, they had to carry signs that said, I am a man. If you have to declare your manhood on a sign, you know that your manhood is under serious threat. They started the strike because they weren't even allowed to go into the regular headquarters, and they had to sit in the garbage truck in the rain, and the malfunction happened, and then they were crushed and killed in the garbage truck. And that's how the strike even started. And let me tell you, you know, we think of this as a civil rights moment, black civil rights. We think of it that way. But did you know that AFSCME is a predominantly white labor union that had their back 100% all the way? Did you know that? Did you know that this strike was an example of interracial cooperation for the purpose of elevating the dignity of everyone? I say this to you because because in these days, our unity and our solidarity is our best weapon against Trump. He wants to tell the young people, y'all ain't gonna have no Social Security because the old people taking all the money. You know they say that, right? And then they say to the women, oh, these men, they're all a bunch of, they're bad. But then they go to the men and they say, your wife, she make more money than you. She's getting kind of uppity. She thinks that she doesn't have to do what you say anymore. What kind of man are you? Would your father have tolerated this? Do you know they tell the guys that? Guys, am I lying? They're trying to convince you to be some sort of a patriarchal guy and not be a partner to your partner. They work on our minds. They tell white people that the blacks are the criminals. They tell blacks and whites that the Latinos are coming to take our jobs. They're always trying to break us apart. The most powerful weapon we have is our solidarity. If we will hang together, we will win. If we will hang together and go reach out to our neighbors, we will win. So say, I will vote.
I will vote.
I will vote.
I will vote.
Let's go vote.
All right.